Hello to another episode of Rowaninski City. This is one of the cities that I've created in Cities Skyline. This is episode 10 and we are looking at some of the areas within this city. I've changed a few areas to do with toll roads. I've updated the road towards the cargo train terminal, and I'm also looking at creating a kind of entertainment area with a stadium and an expo. So I have decided to add a new exit on this highway, and I'm going to add a toll booths to this exit. And the reason for this is that any cargo that wants to go to the train cargo terminal does have to go from one side of the city to the other. I figured, well, let's make one closer, and also let's charge people for that. So this is going to be a lot better for me. I'm going to make some money whilst, moving cargo in and out of the city. So I've decided that I'm going to just go off and create myself my own highway exit, which some people make look really easy, and I'm going to admit to you, it's not as easy as it looks. So I'm dilly-dallying is the best way around this, trying to work out how I'm going to put this entry exit onto the highway, which is just the other side of those railway tracks. So I have actually sped this process up a fair amount because it took me quite a while to do, and I'm pretty sure you'll be very, very bored of the entire process. But basically, I've created the entire route to the roundabout. I've added my toll roads to let traffic in and out, and then I've just added them into my roundabout and added the water, and then I am all good. I can start charging. I put the fees to maximum because I want to make as much money as possible. In fact, I'm getting there at the moment. I'm losing, but I do start earning money. Looks like I'm at about 5 mil, which is pretty good going. And away you go. So one of the other things I decided to do was this entire section just here is appalling. It was put in because I wanted to put a cargo train station in, or terminal, and I basically just popped something in and made it work. And originally I had it going the other way and the flow wasn't great, and this works quite well. I mean, the traffic, I am left hand side, so right hand drive cars, I'm using the left hand side road, and obviously cars come round and vehicles and whatever, and they can flow off, and the flow's quite good. So I've decided that I need to adjust this to make it not more streamlined, but to save space. So I'm going to run another one-way road, sort of in parallel with the existing one. This will just mean that I've got more space that I can add real estate to and zone up in future, and not have to worry about this whole ugly mess. Now, I haven't decided yet, but I may make this a industrial area at some point. The issue with putting an industrial area in on the route to the terminal is it creates quite a big delay as traffic goes in and out of the terminal, and obviously as traffic is also going in and out of the respective industrial buildings if I put them there. So that just slows down the traffic going to the cargo terminal. So I figured, no, I probably won't do that. I'll just make it a straight road. Because traffic can back up, I've made it fairly long, and the traffic can flow in and flow out quite nicely. Now I'm just taking it up. I'm just using the Move It mod just to bring these roads a little bit closer together, probably make it look a little bit more realistic, but it might not be to those out there who are perfectionists. And I think I decided to just add a little bit more of a bulbous end to it so that it looks probably more realistic, so vehicles come up to it and then they don't need to slow down as much, so it looks much more realistic. We'll go around there in a nice sweeping, smooth movement. So I need to tweak it a little bit more just as it's coming towards the roundabout, just to make it look that much nicer in a visual appeal way. So I think that looks pretty good. Traffic is moving pretty rapidly. I mean, we have got it on speed 3, so it's going as fast as possible. So I've already created this kind of basic matrix. I've decided that I'm going to make this kind of the modern town centre style. That's one of the things I wanted to try out on the Rowaninski city. And I needed to work out how you do that because I wasn't 100% sure. So there we go, we've got that Fairview Square. So I'm a little bit confused, but I do finally find what I'm looking for, which is in the actual option of the name. So I was going through it, and I was going to the zones, and I was trying to zone it, and I was like, office area, don't want to make it an office area, don't want to make it an IT cluster. So I need to make it as something other than that. So I want to make it a commercial zone. So there you go, I've whacked in some of the commercial areas. I think that's the high density commercials, and hopefully it will start to build at some point. However, my city has absolutely zero demand for commercial areas. So I really wanted to add a bus terminal to this little area, as I thought, well, you know, it's a modern city centre, I might as well have a bus terminal here. Now there is also a train station for passengers not far away, so I thought, well, okay, let's whack one of those in. So I'm going to put a bus depot just here. And I also wanted to make it so that it was for buses only. So I tried out one of these new roads. It was classed as a beta, and it's a road just for buses. However, I'll let you into a little secret. That does not work. I had to actually use the Traffic Manager President Edition to actually ban certain types of traffic. Now, I did also allow the recycling and rubbish or trash collection vehicles and taxis to there because I thought, well, it's probably going to be needed. So I thought, right, let's give that a shot. To allow the buses to run, you have to add a bus depot. And I've now added one of those, which should allow me to go off and create the bus routes that I require to run around the areas. Like I have got an IT cluster, and I will have a modern town centre, and I have got the passenger train service, and I have a few residential areas. So I want to add those in and create a nice set of bus routes for a lot of my little, whatever you want to call them, civilians that are in my residentials or whatever they are called, can travel around the city without causing congestion. Anyway, what I did not realise, and I do fix later on in the video, is that my roads and my bus depot are at the wrong levels, which is very, very annoying. So I do go off and fix those at a later point. Now here I'm adding the bus routes to my areas. It gets a little bit more complicated because it is a little bit out of the way, but it is quite nice. I do like adding these in. So I've got one, look, going from the bus terminal to the train passenger station stroke terminal, and a little stop inside one of my other residential areas. Now, I'm not sure what the best practice is here, people, so if you'd like to leave me a comment, that would be great. But I don't tend to do a circular route with stops going out and in. My poor old residents have got to do some walking. But it does seem to work quite nicely, and I do have quite a large number of passengers waiting at the bus terminal, and they do change from one stop to another. So I have sped up this process a little bit for you because it can be rather tedious watching somebody lay out a bus route. So hopefully that won't take too long, but I have added a few of them in now, and I can see, or I hope to see, a lot of my residents using those routes. If you look carefully as the buses enter the bus station, you can see that they have to go down a rather abrupt dip, as you can see. and there it is fairly obvious. So now I'm going to use the Move It mod and some other little bits and pieces which I've got no idea what I did to try to make these nice and level so that the buses don't have to do this weird dive through a concrete area to enter the bus station. Now I'm trying to use the Move It mod, and there's one of the options there is to raise the level if you click on something and then click on something else, but I do it, as you saw at the back there, it did raise it up, but it's not to what I was expecting, and the buses are still doing this really weird kind of dive through concrete, so I'm going to have to adjust that a little bit further. But as you can see, my bus routes are incredibly busy. I've got a lot of people there queuing up, waiting for the buses. So the bus terminal is working well, but I've also found another traffic hotspot. Yes, it's for my bridge that's taking us across the river Rowaninski, and there's a lot of traffic building up there because I've got a toll booth there. So it's like, maybe I should do something about this. So the options were create some toll booths where the existing one is, but split that up so there's more, so you got one in one direction, one in the other, or, which was my preferred option, was to move the toll booths to this side of the bridge where I've got more space. So I'm going to use the Move It mod, and I've just selected everything there. I'm going to drag the roundabout over to one side, and I suddenly realised that that is not enough space. So I'm going to have to drag the roundabout further to the right to allow me enough breathing space to place my toll booths in. As you can see, not enough space. Now I have sped this up somewhat because otherwise it would be incredibly dull to watch this in real time as I make some minor adjustments to my bridge, which I would have thought would actually cost a few billion and would take years to do. But I've added my toll booths in, and I have made a bit of a boo-boo. The roads joining the roundabout and the roads joining to the bridge themselves are both two-way, which, although I'm quite happy for my residents to drive through the toll booth and pay and then be able to do a U-turn and actually I've forgotten something, I need to go back to the toll booth, that doesn't really, I just think it causes congestion. So I've changed those roads now to one way, 2 lanes, and I'm going to use the traffic manager just to make sure that people cannot do that ridiculous U-turn. So to this, I'm probably not going to be able to use the arrows, so I'm going to use the traffic guide. So I'm going to click on the relevant node, and I can click on the little circle, so I can go like purple to green, and then yellow to mauve. But I'm not using my glasses, so I can't actually see the colours very well whilst I'm narrating this. So anyway, I've made those, so now you can see the arrows are changed, they're now both pointing forward. Excellent, and I've also now gone off and decided to upgrade it from a 2-lane one-way to a 3-lane one-way, and the reason for that is actually the toll booths are 4, I then go to 3 lanes, and now I'm dropping down to 2, so it gives you kind of a narrowing effect for the traffic flow. Now, because the traffic flow seems to be quite heavy going in towards kind of the other area, the area which has got the IT cluster and the modern town centre, and it's got a lot more of the residential zones, I've decided to use the asymmetrical roads because actually they look quite neat, and I've decided to put it 3 going in one direction and 2 on the other. Now I've also got a toll road at the other end, which would be rather harsh if I'm going to toll somebody twice to go across the bridge. So I've deleted that. I'm just going to change the layout slightly so that I can join the roads up nice and neat, so it gives a nice continuous flow to that one roundabout. Now I've made those changes to the toll roads, it's probably time just to make sure that the traffic flow is correct. Now I really don't want people crossing this main highway, that would be silly, so I'm just going to stop that off. I'm also going to make sure that the traffic is flowing in the correct direction, so the traffic coming out can use those 2 lanes and move into those 3, and just going to ensure that using Traffic Manager that roundabout is going to operate as smoothly as possible, because I don't want a massive tailback of traffic, as you can see happening there. And what was happening in a lot of places is they just used that one left-hand lane, and now that I've made that change using Traffic Manager, the traffic is now using the 2 lanes onto that roundabout, and flow is working quite nicely. Whilst I was doing a quick look around the actual city, I did spot this area near my bus station that I've got a lot of pedestrians crossing over. I thought, hang on a second, let's put a pedestrian bridge in. This might actually smooth this traffic out, because just down to the bottom left there's a little bend and there's an awful lot of traffic waiting. Now I also realised I had traffic lights on these junctions, so I've already removed those, and here I'm just about to make some changes. So I don't mind the people crossing at the crossings on the left, on the little side roads, but on that main road I really want them to flow through and continue the traffic. Now, because the road is lower on one end, that pedestrian bridge didn't work the way it was originally, so I've rotated 180 degrees and now it looks much nicer, and I'm hoping at some point these pedestrians will be kind enough to move over. Anyway, once again, I'm just going to make sure that the everyone goes, and another one, and a few more. Brilliant. So we've now turned off, using Traffic Manager, the crossings, so people cannot cross on that main road, but traffic going in and out on that bus lane do have to give way to the pedestrians, which is great. I've also removed the traffic lights, and as you can see now, this is really moving. I've also used Traffic Manager to say that the main thoroughfare, the traffic going from left or from right to left, can proceed, but the traffic coming out from that junction has to give way. And straight away, you will now see that the traffic starts to move a lot better, that those small changes have been made. Now obviously this is sped up a little bit, and I'm going to make another small mod using the arrows, that the left hand lane is left only and the 2 other lanes are straight on. Hopefully this will also now sort out the traffic. As you can see, yes, they are whizzing down there and they are moving, and hopefully the buses can just bypass that queue, use that left hand lane and go straight down. Anyway, that's episode 10. We're drawing that to completion. We have made some changes today to some of the areas. I hope to expand it and even add some additional mass transit in future, so that this area you can see right now, the stadium, I want to add the metro to it and the overland metro using the metro mod. So anyway, if you've enjoyed this video and you want to see more, then please do hit subscribe, hit the notification bell and hit the like button, and please do share. That would be great. Thank you very much for watching. My name is Chris. This was Rowaninski City, played in the game of Cities Skylines. Once again, thank you very much for watching, and I will see you soon. Goodbye.